Oh, well, welcome to another Dudes Talking episode. Here with me this evening, I have my friend, MWC S90. We're going to discuss Boykin, McChrystal, and the Knights of Malta. How are you doing this evening, MWC? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Had a little bit of fun there, looking for some evidence. Sorry about that. That's just the
Tea kettle.
tea. My bad.
It's okay. It's okay, dokie. Yes, we had a little bit of fun slapsticking this stream together because of Steve Pachinik, the CIA spook. Remember, we did a show together. When did we start trusting spooks? So looks like people have been trusting some spooks, and they turned
Not
into
all of them.
InfoWars. That's true. That's true. Many people in this audience, they don't trust spooks.
Oh, no, I meant that tweet that you retweeted.
No, you're right. Not all of them. I know Henry Skip Clements.
I meant David Knight.
Well, yeah. I thought you were talking about there's the law averages. At least you're gonna have one or two spooks that are for you. The law of averages are one or two, but not many more than that. I'm definitely not trusting Hawaiian Kissinger's best bud forever, Steve Pachinik. I'm not, and the guy that they based the Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan novels on. Of course, Tom Clancy was a Council for National Policy member for many years. So I'm definitely not going to trust old Stevie P. What about you, S90?
Nope, but I definitely know I have to listen to him, to get in on the enemy comms, as it were.
So I'm going to play this clip from Owen, who got destroyed by Adam Green Schroyer. I'm not going to call him Owen the Destroyer Schroyer because he's not. He got destroyed twice by Adam. And so I'm going to play Owen right here, and then he's going to introduce Stevie P. So
it's on our side, but we have to have that will. We have to have that faith. Now, the reverse to that is, will you go around? We have to understand through a lens.
hold on, you guys cannot hear it. You can't hear it either, can you, S90? Give me a minute. Talk for a minute. I need to find what's up. But yeah, sorry about that. A little bit of a new technical difficulties. So I got to find out exactly what's going on. So just give me a minute. So what you're my InfoWars guy. You listen to InfoWars, so I don't have to. So how Yeah, it's good, huh? You don't have to listen to.
This is the first.
Okay, there we go. We got it to work now. Yes. Okay. All right, now we play it. All right, so I had you muted too during that too as well, so just fun and shenanigans tonight for all, I guess. So sorry, audio issues, my bad. All right, so let's play Owen Schroyer here.
I don't have much faith in these state legislatures. I'm just going to be honest. I don't have much faith in the Supreme Court. I'm not even sure how much faith I have in Donald Trump, but I have faith in God, and more so, I also have faith in the American people. And I have faith that if we believe we will win and we consciously continue to fight until we win and visualize our victory, then we will win. And we have God on our side and we have all the facts and evidence on our side. But we have to have that will. We have to have that faith. Now, the reverse to that is, well, you go around and you see the people wearing masks. You see the leftists that burn the American flags and stuff. We have to understand through a lens of reality. That's like being mad at a triple amputee war veteran for not being able to run a marathon. These people have been hit with psychological warfare weapons that have crippled their mind to returnable statuses, folks. And so it's sad when you see the triple amputee from war. That's a sad thing. That's who these lefties are. That's who these Democrat voters are from the mainstream media propaganda. Now, on the other side of this frame, and now Steve Pachenik will paint the picture within, we have, look, if I know the Democrats are about to steal the election, if millions of Americans know the Democrats are about to steal the election, then Donald Trump knows it. Donald Trump's people know it. His legal team know it. And they all knew it.
He knew it for 4 years. He didn't do anything. He didn't do nothing. Trump did not do anything to stop this. He even made an electoral integrity committee with Tom Cotton, CMP Tom Cotton, and CMP CFR member John Kenneth Blackwell, who knows how to win elections. Go back and watch my video on John Kenneth Blackwell. You can learn more about John Kenneth Blackwell. So, and that election integrity committee was disbanded, didn't do nothing. And then Trump had 4 years to do something to fix it and just complained about it a few months up to the election about how it was going to be rigged and all this, and still didn't do anything. And is still really doing nothing now. He has lost so many court cases. You know, look, I'd be very surprised at this point if Trump somehow becomes president. It still might be part of their plan. I could be wrong. Yes, Miss Oshers, like his vaccine safety committee. As much as I give crap over Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. and how, you know, his connections to Jeffrey Epstein and being in Jeffrey Epstein's black book, he even admitted that the vaccine safety committee that Donald Trump the Trump administration made, was a complete sham. And look where we are with Operation Warp Speed. I like to call Donald Trump hashtag the vaccine president, because he's so proud. Such fast vaccines is a miracle. It's a miracle, S90. It's a miracle. So it's all just bullcrap. What say you?
Yeah, he even said that Regeneron was a miracle from God.
Yes. Which we know that is not the case, because of they claim it doesn't have aborted tissue, but they're the only one that doesn't use the aborted tissue to grow the antigens. It's a little iffy. I did a lot of research. I couldn't find any of their papers that were talking about the differentiation for Regeneron, so it's just a little iffy. But let's continue.
He knew it all
expensive.
along. Now,
yes.
Did they set the proper infrastructure in place to catch the steal and then prosecute the steal? We're finding that out right now if people have the will to do it. But we catch them with the dead voters. We catch them stuffing the ballots. We catch them filling the ballots, voting multiple times. We catch them pulling out briefcases, clearing the polling places. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Illegal mail-in ballots, eyewitness saying...
Yes, Owen. Election rigging is real because you have a selection. Yeah, we were... Oh, wait, now it's just a grand unveiling that now all of a sudden people on the right magically now care that elections are rigged? Is that what this is? Is that what this is to make it seem so blatantly so to one side? Is this an unveiling? Is this an unveiling? Are they viewing a principality? Is that what they're viewing? You know, is the enchantment being broken? Is that what this is?
Mark says, oh no, stuffing ballots with dead people.
Hey, yeah, I remember, like Roger Stone said, you got them North Koreans, by hook or by crook, somehow magically getting a boat of ballots to the coast of Maine, the ports of Maine.
Seriously,
They
can't even keep a Wild West era train system running in that country. You think they're ready to take on Poseidon?
Yeah, how did they get ballots? North Korea gets ballots. How did they get them to the coast of Maine? Like, I want to know, like, did they do them by submarine? Like,
honestly,
but then we know all the submarines are, so it could have been by that. I mean, I really want to know. I need a Roger Stone who actually backed up martial law, even though he claimed he didn't, but in the same sentence actually confirmed that he did agree about martial law, because Roger Stone is also one of the people. All these people, they speak in double-mindedness. They must have been taught by Colonel Michael Aquino from PSYOP to Mind War. InfoWars, get the name. They all speak all double-minded. But then again, I guess following Satan, Satan is one of the prince of being double-minded. So I guess that would make sense. But it's just silly.
Just as a side thought, just to logically think this out, the way that North Korea could have got ballots would be if they had a contract, they had contact with Dominion. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Billy Martin in the chat, they're on the boat Steve Bannon was on. Yeah, Miles Gual's yacht.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, see?
Not at all. Not at all. Actually, a lot of... go read Daniel Hopsicker's expose on Miles Gual and Steve Bannon and a lot of drugs. The second biggest cocaine bust, I think, in the United States. Ooh, Bannon. Oh boy, what you and Miles Gual been up to? What y'all been doing? What y'all been doing? We know about that. We know about that alleged porn and meth house down there in Florida. So,
we had fake mail-in ballots. Now, Dr. Steve Pachinik, I start off the question with this. If I know and you know and we talk about this and many other people know everything the Democrats are about to do to steal the 2020 election, surely President Trump knows it, surely people on his team know it, his legal team know it, and they had to know it just like we did, I would assume. So now that we have all the evidence and the affidavits and all of it, and we've already had the election, is there going to be enough evidence to overturn the minds and the hearts of the state legislatures of the American people?
So now we're going to talk about direct electors disregarding the vote certifications in their states and directly electing Donald Trump. It's possible. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. Anything's possible. I still think it's possible. With them returning all the troops home and then putting in the Flynn loyalists, Flynn pretty much running the Department of Defense, with Ezra Cohen, Watnick, and Patel, it's quite possible. And when them returning the troops home, that they will, the dutiful electorates will elect Donald Trump as President of the United States of America to gaslit the left and employ some sort of civil war. Still possible. It seems the percentages of that happening seems to be dwindling day by day, though. I'm starting to kind of see it a little bit differently now. Still could happen, but it doesn't seem as much as I thought it was going to happen a week or two ago. It seems the more, especially with Rudolph Giuliani getting COVID and being in the hospital clinging on to dear life with COVID, it seems like all the world's a stage to me. But go ahead, S90. I'm curious to see what you're going to say.
Oh boy, it is a stage, isn't it? I can't figure out if the players are two opposing teams or if they're just, one cast playing good and bad guys.
Yeah, it's difficult to figure that out, isn't it? But we do know that Satan is puppeteering them at the top. And yes, Mark, trust Pal, she is a secret white hat. That is so true. Really to crack.
And when
she's a white hat for Enron.
If evil ever manages to get a foothold in our world, the first people it gets rid of would be its own followers, because evil already basically has their souls, right? It wants the souls of the good people, so it would front as a white hat to get people to follow, to get the revolutionaries to follow them and persecute the bad people, right? At least that's what I think.
Yes, Satan wants to deceive Christians to make them fall away. That's why, he leaves. And
he would do it by appearing as a savior, not as some awful evil coming out of the sea,
yes.
Right? He would appear as someone draining the swamp, say.
Yes, of course. Or like Flynn coming as a light. And so they're all light workers, New Age.
Yes,
pretty much you can go back to the old time religion, so.
People that no matter what, come hell or high water, President Trump will be reinaugurated in January. What do you believe the current status is, Dr. Steve Pachinik?
What I said a long time ago to you, and I said if this was a sting operation, I don't share the same view you do in terms of the left being amputees. I see them as ineffectual, corrupt individuals who have been in power for 30, 40 years and have destroyed.
Well, I'm not talking about the Nancy Pelosi's. I'm talking about the people that go out in the streets and like to spit on Trump supporters and stuff.
No, I understand, but this is far more serious. It's what I said to you probably a month ago. We're running a sting operation out of Cyber Command. And this wasn't an accident. This was already pre-planned. When Trump came in, he did the national emergency order in 2019. The will and the power is there, as well as the forces. It's not an accident. I told you that we have cyber designations on every ballot, as well as every machine. We know where they are. We knew about Dominion. We knew about Smartmatics. We've already deployed countless numbers of soldiers all over the United States. I think in Texas, if you look at Fort Hood and other places, you will see major deployment of American soldiers.
There's Fort Hood again.
We're not
Exactly. I'm going to do a show on Fort Hood eventually. I'm going to get around to it.
We have to do that because that's a very important thing to note that people might not have seen. Some of the happenings there over this last year have been very suspect.
There's been some very weird possible sex and human trafficking allegations out of Fort Hood.
And a lot of deaths. And it's surprising, massive amount compared to what's normal.
Yes.
On local police, we're literally relying on our military to basically call out what the CIA and other secular institutions have been doing in terms of running this country. The corruption was well known by Trump. It was also known by many of us in the military, intelligence, and other areas way back in terms of Hillary Clinton. That's why she didn't come in, and we're running now the sting operation that I told you about it. So Trump is there to stay. He's not going anywhere. In the Georgia speech, he made it very clear there's no way he's leaving. There's no way he will allow any of this corruption to continue. And basically what he's doing is a revolution, and that's really what we're in. I don't want to call it a second civil war, but basically it is a state of emergency.
So now we have the difference between a revolution and a second civil war. So Pechenix is it's the same stuff that he pulled 4 years ago with the White Hats are in command. The same stuff that you deal with the QAnon operation and their crowd and everything they talk about is that narrative that you trust the plan, don't worry, we the White Hats got all this, the White Hat military and the White Hat and the intelligence agencies like me in the State Department, Dr. Steve Pechenix, we got this, don't worry, we got all this. So it's the same, they're running the same stuff. It's no different, and people believe this horse crap.
Yeah, trust the plan.
It's sad.
So to speak, where Trump anticipated this, used our brave men and women in the intelligence community.
Again, Trump hasn't. He had 4 years.
To preempt Biden and all the other people on the...
But yeah, just like it was a soft coup when Trump came into power with Flynn and all them, according to Pechenix, that it was a revolution then. They called it the Second American Revolution. That Second American Revolution, according to Pechenix, is still going on. Trust the plan. Don't worry. We don't need martial law. We did these watermarks on the ballots. It was a sting operation. It's just, it's like, but then again, if I have to be honest, if I had to take with what Flynn and them are talking about with martial law, and what Pechenix's talking about with the Second American Revolution has already happened, trust the plan, get your popcorn. I hate to say this, but I would take Pechenix's rhetoric any day over these people that are calling for martial law. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not even trying to do a lesser of two evils thing, but man.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to play that devil's advocate position, but sometimes it's almost like we just have to hope to pull the balance back to the middle so that no one side gets too much of a foothold until we can get rid of them both at the same time.
Yeah, if that's even possible.
Democratic side. And I think Biden understands this. He may not always be the sharpest bulb and the sharpest mind around, but I think he has a pretty good idea that he's under indictment, his son is, and if anything is to come about, my suspicion is that Biden will resign, as will his son, because either or both might go to prison. My suspicion is Trump will remain. He will be a president for the next 8 years. Biden will concede, and somewhere there will be remuneration. That's only my suspicion.
You said 8 years. Was that
Cooper's Delight.
Yes, it's not a Freudian slip. I don't believe in Freud.
I hadn't noticed that when I was watching it.
So is that based on
Evil
the
Small.
fact that for 4 years they've been sabotaging the Trump agenda with all their fraud? Is that how he would legitimify 4 more years?
Well, it's not just 4 more years of his administration. He would legitimize it simply because he came in understanding very well that he was there to become the best president we've ever had. That's one. They call that narcissist, but that's healthy narcissism. Number 2, he knew that he could not accomplish everything he wanted in the first 4 years. So he needs another 4 years, and he wants to position Pence and others in the Republican Party to have another 4 years beyond that. So what I'm talking about is not just another 4 years and the past 4 years, I'm talking about another 8 years. And that's exactly what he has in mind. Now, he knew there would be corruption. What he's done is no president in the United States has ever done this, other than, I think, Eisenhower, who indicted the CIA by saying they were a legacy of ashes and they were a disaster. This is the first president in the 21st century to say, I will not allow any form of corruption to exist in our voting system. Simple as that.
He didn't do anything to stop it.
And I will remain.
He's going to go on and he's going to say that, oh, that was the plan all along. We knew it back in 2018.
In power. He utilized all the men and women in our intelligence community in the White House, General Nakasone, General Keith Alexander, Boykin, Special Forces.
Oh, Boykin! Remember Boykin. Remember CMP Boykin. We're going to get to him.
Here we go.
Stevie P and Boykin. They know each other, don't they? Boy.
Forces. I mean, these are names that I've told you about before, but they're quiet. And these are the real heroes. And unfortunately, as Adam Curry said, in one
Adam Curry, no agenda show.
Now, who mentioned? There was someone in the chat that mentioned Adam Curry. Do you remember who it was?
I don't remember who it was, but someone was telling me that Adam Curry knows Steve Pachenik, and they said that Adam had mentioned it on a No Agenda show a few months ago, and poof.
Whoever it is, we apologize. We don't remember. Put your name in the comments section. We'll give you credit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry neither one of us knew who gave us that tip, but it does seem like you are right. That Steve Pachenik and Adam Curry for No Agenda know each other. I always had some weird off feelings about No Agenda. They seem not to talk really about anything really too deeply, in my opinion, so it doesn't surprise me, but that's interesting.
And Adam Curry has been appearing on the Economics Insider guy that I think is CNP related, who keeps reaffirming his CNP-ness. Last episode he just mentioned multipolarity.
Oh boy! Dugan.
his shows, he said they're not going to televise the revolution. And that comes from an old song in 1971, as you know. But he understood that we had to break away from the main media. In other words, the New York Times, Washington Post, all of those, they're not relevant except for the New York Post. That was ready to stand there. He also understood that he would control the Senate, he would control the House, and that basically you're going to see a red revolution come about, where in fact they said they proclaim that Biden is the president-elect. Biden is nothing of that sort. Biden is just literally biding his time.
Well, in the last 60 seconds, let me follow up with a Biden comment you made, and then let's get back into the sting operation in detail in the next segment. Biden and Hunter and Joe Biden and James Biden, actually, have all committed money fraud, international crimes. There's many people that know about this. Is there any will, other than in Ukraine, to prosecute them as criminals?
I think there is a major will in the White House, which is far more important than anything else, to prosecute both of them or possibly three of them, but I can't go into specifics of the prosecution. You would have to talk to someone who's you can trust in the Department of Justice. I don't trust Barr, and I don't trust Dunham. So I'm not getting into the specifics.
Oh, you don't trust them now?
I will tell you, they are within our sight in terms of military intelligence and other intelligence.
So just, I mean, quickly, it sounds like the only institution Trump has on his side is the military. Is that accurate?
Ding, 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 ding.
Correct, but a certain portion of the military, which...
Dr. Steve Pachinik is with us. He was going on there during the break, and so I want to let him finish up on the Biden crime family, and then we'll get into the 2020 election sting, as he's put it. We'll get into the details of that. Steve, I believe, I mean, I've seen it with my own eyes. I mean, there are millions of Americans that are so fed up with politicians selling our country out and betraying us for decades. The Bushes, the Clintons, Obama, I mean, the list goes on and on. We know the names. And so I believe Trump has a will to have these people meet justice. I guess I'm asking you now then, what is the biggest obstacle to this? What is in the way, and how do we clear those obstacles to finally get justice, including with the criminals that just tried to steal our election? Dr. Steve Pachinik. Tell that dogfight to calm down. Steve Pachinik does not run dogfighting rings.
Basically, the problem that's in the way.
See,
right
that's what I'm telling you. Even the Pachinik dog is pissed off. He's in there. I can speak dog. He's saying arrest Biden already. He's saying lock them up.
It's not.
I feel your dog's pain, Steve. Believe me, I feel it. It's fine. Give the dog the
John?
platform. He said lock him up.
Is there anything else you wanted to share from this?
Did I miss something?
No.
Is there anything else?
Most of it's just pandering from now on.
Okay. I didn't know.
How stuff's fake and blah blah blah. It's pretty dull after this.
So first of all, I'm gonna do more shows on Jerry Boykin, but first, why don't we show? Actually, let me bring up. Actually, I'll just bring up Boykin's Wikipedia page. So this is William Jerry Boykin, Gerald Boykin, and he was U.S. States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence under President George W. Bush from 2000 to 2017. During his 36-year career in the military, he spent 13 years in Delta Force and was involved in numerous high-profile missions, including the 1980 Iran hostage rescue attempt. In the 1992 hunt for Pablo Escobar in Colombia, and the Black Hawk Down Institute in Mogadishu, Somalia. He is currently Executive Vice President of the Family Research Council. Of course, Family Research Council is an equal to think tank to the CMP. FRC is. They're both in cooperation completely with one another. From 2000 to 2003, he was Commanding General of the United States Army JFK Special Warfare Center in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Oh, boy. So this guy knows his ops. As Commanding General of U.S. Army Special Forces Command from 1998 to 2000. So CMP Jerry Boykin. Right there. Big part of military intelligence. Big part of special operations. And Special Warfare, Special Forces Command. So, Boykin's one of the military spokes. So.
I think we might need to throw that song on again.
So, yes, maybe at the end. So here is something of whom Boykin is a part of, which is the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Knights Hospitalier, Commandery of Florida, which is
it is pronounced hospitalier.
Okay. Look, I can't speak French. I've been here. My family's been here for 300 years. So I mean, this is kind of a pseudo, or is it Knights of Malta spinoff, or is it
Or is it real?
where the
Find
Protestants,
out.
the CMP Protestants come together and LARP, or do they, about the Knights of Malta? So here we have the Knights and Dames Gala. That's been postponed to next year in the 2021 because of COVID, supposedly.
Miss Ostrich said Boykin is a Slavic surname from the Slavic Bojaz, I don't know, meaning timid or fearful, deriving from Bojazdin for fear or dread. And I think names mean a lot.
Yeah.
Just a side note.
Yeah. So this is Commander Isabel K. Paul, GCSJ of the Order and Sovereign Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Florida Commandery. So she's a dom. She might even be a grand dame of this Order of St. John of Jerusalem Knights Hospitaller, the Florida Priory. So yeah, pro fide, pro utilitate hominum, for faith, for service to humanity. So they're so nice. So nice.
It looks like Bill I. Martin says it looks like she's clothed in 101 Dalmatians. I tend to agree.
So this looks very Christian, right, you guys? Like, am I missing something here? Of course, it's in an Episcopal church, so ecumenic. When is it?
Look at the guys on the end LARPing, holding the swords.
Oh yes, the power of Grayskull.
Yeah. Oh, I have the power.
So yeah, this looks very LARPy, or is it very CMP-ish, or is it of them trying to be the Knights of Malta, and of course they are a 501c3. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, seems cool. Seems cool. Marv from Music Started Live. Nothing odder than a Malta cross on a woman. If that's what you into, Mark, that's good for you, Bo.
That's a small pool to draw from, though, my friend. You might want to expand your horizons a bit if that's.
Boiled rope lamppost sword in the stone. Yeah. Oh boy, that's so good. Oh man, I tell you what. So then they have the history of them short history of them comparing themselves to be related to the original Knights of Malta.
And you'll note 1798 is an important date in this little saga.
The Order of St. John continued to flourish, centered in Russia and under the protection of Romanov emperors from Paul I to Nicholas II. So it's very interesting that they trace their lineage back to the Knights of Malta, but they are some weird CMP, just weird Protestant wannabe Knights of Malta. But are they? We're gonna get to that in a minute. Our legend, her legacy. Henrietta Countess de Hornell. So I guess this woman was a countess. She was a countess of Boca Raton, Florida. Born to musician parents George and Theresa Rock in the German Black Forest known as Karlsruhe. On September 24th, 1912, the Countess came to America in 1931 to live with her grandparents in the Jack and Hyde neighborhood of Brooklyn. So yeah, she's not a countess. They made her a countess. Countess.
Yeah, which they can do, because I think you can just, since it's independent, like no American can be in the chivalric order or whatever, right? So you could probably just do whatever you want in the States, and the chivalric order can't interfere.
Yes.
I assume.
Yes. So let's see here. Next page. Here's them doing all their philanthropy, which, I mean, I'm not going to say they probably didn't feed the poor. They won a lot of rewards with that.
They wouldn't be able to suck in so many people if they weren't at least doing some genuine work. You know, it's like Alex Jones. There has to be truth around his lies. You know, like around the pill he wants to feed you, so that it goes down smoothly.
So, you know, they still consider themselves part of the original Knights of Malta. So here we have a lawsuit. Sovereign Military Hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes, and of Malta, which is the real Knights of Malta, versus the Florida Priory of the Knights Hospitallers of the Sovereign Order of St. John of Jerusalem, Knights of Malta, the Ecumenical Order. That's the one we just looked at. So the Knights of Malta sued the Florida Priory, Ecumenical Order, Knights of Malta, that we just viewed, for copyright infringement, because they are not one and the same. However, this law firm, Holland and Knight, defended the Florida Priory of the Knights of Malta in an intellectual property dispute. The court found that the Sovereign Military Order of Malta ignored the rights of the Florida Priory and its parent international organization, which the court acknowledged had commenced operations in the United States 18 years before the Sovereign Military Order of Malta in the PTO applications, by stating that it knew of no other entity using the marks, even though Sovereign Military Order of Malta was aware of the parent organization and the Florida Priory. The court also found that since the two organizations share a common history prior to 1798. Huh.
So basically the court legally, you know, it was almost like legalizing a bastard.
Yeah. So maybe they aren't so pseudo after all. Maybe these aren't necessarily some weird CMP Protestant people LARPing as Knights of Malta members.
And it says it commenced operations 18 years before the main one, so...
So yeah, the court ruled that they're proof that they are part of it. Well, that was ruled that they are a part of it. I don't know what to say. I'm just putting it out there. It's weird. It's all really weird. So here we have pictures of, you got Rick Joyner. Rick Joyner. New Apostolic Reformation, Rick Joyner. Heretic. Right next to Jerry Boykin and their little pseudo Knights of Malta garb or whatever. I don't know, Maltese cross, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they're LARPing about. So then again, more LARPy LARP. Or is it LARPy LARP? I really don't know. So that's interesting.
You should click on that. You should click on that one there, the Seymour Hersh Knights of Malta.
Okay, so that's how we. Okay, so that's how we got that. All right. So then, so I was looking for pictures for General Boykin of Knights of Malta. All right, and I was like, what's going on? Like, what's happening here? All right. So then, Foreign Policy's a Council on Foreign Relations, a book, okay, and I book their journal. Seymour Hersh and Knights of Malta and Me. So apparently Seymour Hersh, say what you want to say about Cy Hersh. I understand some people don't trust him as a journalist. I get it. I'm not necessarily do either, but take this as what you will. Hersh charged that the U.S. foreign policy had been hijacked by a cabal of neoconservative quote-unquote crusaders in the former vice president's office and now the special operations community. That's the attitude, he continued. We're going to change mosques into cathedrals. That's an attitude that pervades, I'm here to say, a large percentage of the Joint Special Operations Command. He then alleged that General Stanley McChrystal, who had a JSOC before briefly becoming the U.S. commander in Afghanistan, and his successor, Vice Admiral William McRaven, as well as many within JSOC, are all members or at least supporters of the Knights of Malta. Hersh may have been referencing to the Sovereign Order of Malta, which we're discussing, the true Knights of Malta back, since the early, I think it was 1000. I almost want to say 1098 when it was formed. Someone in chat, let me know.
Yeah, something like that. It's on their website.
So Cy Hirsch comes out with this claim that Stanley McChrystal and William McRaven and a lot of JSOC are Knights of Malta member. Well, we do know that it does appear with Boykin, for example, who, had a lot to do with JSOC. He is a pseudo Knights of Malta. Is it pseudo? Who knows? Member. So it does seem that might be the case. He also goes on to talk about that they're running pretty much our foreign policy. The Knights of Malta are. And I would say that the Jesuits, the Knights of Malta, the Vatican does to some degree. So it's just really interesting that you have Foreign Policy, which is a CFR mouthpiece, their journal, releasing not one, but 2 articles, and even who are the Knights of Malta and what do they want, trying to come against Cy Hirsch making those claims. They spent a lot of time trying to come against Cy Hirsch. And when Cy Hirsch made these claims, say what you want to say about Seymour Hersh, a lot of the news agencies came out of the woodwork and made claims. So much so that they said that he may have been committed because he lost his damn mind. Any thoughts, S90, before we continue?
No, you're on a roll. Keep going, man.
So then, Cy Hirsch and the men who want him committed on Salon. So Salon's kind of, I know Salon's got problems. Trust me. It is what it is. I'm not a fan of Salon, but it's just interesting that they were the ones that were reporting on this. So then McChrystal had to come out, and Stars and Stripes had to report. McChrystal comes out and goes, I'm not out of Malta. No, I'm not.
Well, actually, the point above was that he said we're going to turn cathedrals into mosques or something, right?
So it's just interesting that that's ended up what happening. Is McChrystal had to come out and say, McChrystal's spokesman David Bolger, the allegations recently made by Seymour Hersh related to General McChrystal's involvement with an organization called the Knights of Malta are completely false without basis in fact. Bolger said in an email, Jerry McChrystal is not and has never been a member of that organization. Well, you would think that Stanley McChrystal would sue Hersh, the Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, for making those false accusations. Well, he didn't. So, Now, McRaven did not deny. Now, I looked at McRaven. I tried to see if, I couldn't see any direct connections of him, being a Catholic, or even McChrystal, or of them going to Jesuit colleges or anything like that. McRaven's actually from not too far here, Pinehurst, North Carolina, in Fayetteville. But it's just hilarious that McChrystal had to come out and say no, but then Hersh, nothing was ever happened to Hersh. He wasn't sued by any of these people. He makes these allegations that they're Knights of Malta members, and there's this Knights of Malta cabal, which, the Vatican is part of the world order, and nothing's done. So I'm not saying, I have 100% proof that General Stanley McChrystal and McRaven are Knights of Malta members. They're Opus Dei. I don't. However, and I'm not saying that Seymour Hersh is our guy either. However, when you start studying all these people that come out of JSOC, they all tend to have weird connections to these groups. So, I mean, I don't know what... Now, Cognitive Dissonance in chat saying Knights of Malta is a non-denominational Freemasonic sect. Since when? The last time I checked... they still had... they were still in league with the Vatican.
Like, I'm sorry, these people were created during the Crusades, and the first Masonic literature I can find is in like 1707. If you can find something from when they were founded, Masonic literature, speculative, not operative Masonry, then okay. But I don't think it's Freemasonic. It splits off from
now.
the
If you're saying that the Knights of Malta aren't true Catholics, like from like a Catholic perspective, they're not true Christians, then yeah, I mean you could argue about some of the Jesuits are Jesuits too. Like, okay, if you make that argument, I agree with you. But making the argument that they're not part of the Vatican today, they still are. Unless I'm wrong, I always thought that they were. And yeah, right here, the Pope appoints the prelate of the order to supervise the. Yeah, they're still under the Vatican. So the Sovereign Military Order of Malta are still under the Vatican. So, all right. So to continue, then we started looking into McRaven. Well, the McRaven ends up leading with some weird thing that I've never even heard of, an exposed enemy. Shout out to John Swin in the chat. John, if you've heard of this, please let me know, or Mark or anybody else in the chat. Definitely go subscribe to Expose the Enemy. John Swin does great work. The OSS Society.
Yeah, a society that celebrates the OSS. Yes, it's real.
So, okay. So I've never heard of this. It gets better. So here we have film about Admiral McRaven. So it starts out President Obama's tribute to Admiral McRaven, acceptance speech by Admiral McRaven. So it starts out with McRaven. Then you have John Brennan giving open remarks. Then you have James Clapper showing up. So then you have, and then it just keeps continuing. William J. Donovan.
Pompeo.
Yeah, Pompeo. Ryan Zinke. People that you guys might remember of who they are. Names that I see pop up. The tip of the spear from Virginia Hall to Jenna Haspel. Oh boy, tip of the spear. General Petraeus. Yeah, we got Mattis a couple of times. And this is the OSS Society. So OSS is Operation Strategic Services. It was the precursor to the Central Intelligence Agency. And then we have their website. Their website looks like it hasn't changed in 2 decades.
Yeah.
So here we have, of course, the OSS Spear, 75th
Very
anniversary.
John Burt looking.
Yes, as well. Very John Burt, the tip of the spear. And Alex Jones always says InfoWars is the tip of the spear. Tip of the spear, tip of the spear, tip of the spear. US SOCOM, tip of the spear. In Boykin's case, since they are obsessed with the spear that pierced Jesus Christ, I almost wonder if that's what they meant by tip of the spear. And Boykin supposedly, and his group, supposedly are obsessed with the hole that was made when Jesus was pierced by the spear, the blasphemy that is. And all of his Florida Priory buddies supposedly, allegedly, are obsessed with it, kind of like the Faith Plus One song from South Park. It's blasphemy is all that is. So these people are not good people. These people, in my opinion, are not Christian. They LARP as Christians. Now, some people within the Florida Priory, they may be Christian. It's very compartmentalized, I would assume. There's some people in there, you're going to have some true believers that think they're doing what's right, even though they're LARPing as Knights of Malta members. Or are they? But
Well, you see, even in the foreignpolicy.com article, they were saying McChrystal and Raven and all of them are parts of the Sovereign Order of Malta. And then they said, but they have categorically denied these allegations. But what if they really were? And it was like they're engaging in like literal conspiracy theory that they supposedly hate.
So it's really
to get these people.
So it's really interesting. that they're trying to push. Yeah, they're like pushing conspiracy theories, but they're kind of confirming it in a way. And they had to do not one, but like, okay, so Seymour Hersh makes these allegations, right? And he makes this declaration, and then people go crazy about it. Yeah, Abdul, I'm sorry, it is supposedly, not supposedly. It's my Southern lump everything together. But I misspoke a lot. If you guys listen to me, this channel should be called "We Butcher the Documents." I'm sorry. I can read perfectly in my head, but when I speak out words, they just come out of a fumbled mess. But the OSS Society needs a deep dive into. I might eventually do it. It really does need one. I find this extremely interesting. I hope maybe someone in the chat does as well.
They have some magazines, PDF format for free in the corner there, it seems.
Membership form?
Yeah, you can't get on that.
Oh, the OSS Reborn.
What? I didn't see this part.
Office of Strategic Services, OSS Reborn, and you have your OSS Society journals. Oh, boy. This video is age restriction, only available. I guess it's people dying in war.
Click
okay,
it,
yes,
click
that
it,
makes sense.
click it.
I'm not clicking it.
Click it.
I am very interesting. I am
it.
very interesting from Virginia Hall to Gina Haspel.
Did you see that? The video is called "The Tip of the Spear."
Yes, it is. I said that earlier.
You can't get over this.
No, you can't.
Large and small, who challenged stereotypes, broke down barriers.
Hey, any QAnon people, that supposed Dominion raid that happened in Frankfurt, where everybody has cell phones. Everybody has cell phones. You have a supposed firefight between the CIA and the United States military, and Gina Haspel's supposedly dies during this firefight. The deep state swamp dweller that she is, the defender of waterboarding.
Injured. Some are just saying she's injured and she's talking in Guantanamo.
Somehow, no one ever got a cell phone camera out. And was like, oh my God, this is in the middle of in Germany. Not in Frankfurt, not one person got a cell phone out, and even if it was the middle of the night because it's a major city and just happened to like film this massive firefight going on. Not one person with all these, nothing at all. This is just stupid. Come on, use logic. Stupid.
And open doors for the rest of us. I am deeply indebted to them, and I am extremely proud to follow in their footsteps and to carry on their extraordinary legacy. I stand on the shoulders of heroines who never sought public acclaim, but served as inspirations to the generations that came after them.
During World War II, more than 4,500 women served in OSS, both in the field and at home, often putting their lives at risk, doing jobs that were as essential to the war effort as those of the men. The women of OSS fought the good fight at the tip of the spear. Some of them were world famous and more than glamorous, like actress and singer Marlene Dietrich, who enticed lonely Nazis to give up the fight. Chef Julia Child, who managed classified data in Ceylon. Countess Eileen de Romanones, who operated as an OSS agent in Spain. And Evangeline Bruce, who served front and center at OSS headquarters London. All worked to deceive and defeat the Axis powers. In the words of an OSS officer, they packed our parachutes, decoded our messages, forged our identity papers, and mapped the terrain where we operated. In the dead of night, they marked rendezvous sites for Allied planes to drop weapons and materiel, and picked up downed Allied flyers. Jane Wallace Burrell served as an OSS case officer with OSS's counterintelligence branch, called X2, in occupied France and Germany. She was later recognized as the first CIA officer to have died while in service. Gertrude Legendre worked with many senior Allied officers. She was captured and interrogated by the Nazis, but miraculously escaped. Cora Dubois worked alongside Lord Louis Mountbatten and OSS Commander John Coughlin in OSS's War Room with Detachment 404 in Ceylon. Stephanie Czech Rader worked undercover for OSS in war-torn Warsaw, where she spied on the Soviets as well as on former Nazis. She famously said OSS gave me a gun, but I never carried a gun. What the heck was I going to do with a dumb gun? Certain women of OSS deserve special mention. First and foremost is Virginia Hall, who was inserted twice.
Okay, this is interesting, but it's getting late. I just want to see. It is pretty cool they're going over the... Oh, I want to see Pompeo. Oh, yeah.
Letter simply addressed CIA, Washington, D.C.
You know, I first met Gina, goodness, it's been years ago now, and immediately I knew that she was exactly the kind of person that should be involved in the most complex, difficult decisions that America has to make about its espionage service.
She said, I wanted to be part of something bigger than just me. I think with my dad's service in the military, I saw...
So that was interesting. Pompeo knew Haspel, what, when he was in Congress? Why? Whatever for? Wait, who's that? Jose Rodriguez? I don't know who that is. I knew about Julia Childs, though. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody else we can recognize in here.
Now director of CIA. She is first among equals and highly deserving of the trust now placed in her.
She's an inspiration for all of the CIA's officers. She leads with a style that is quiet and confident, but at the same time, you know that Gina Haspel will stop at nothing to achieve the outcomes that the CIA has been tasked with achieving.
Because if I didn't say those things, I'd be waterboarded. Like Pompeo. Alright. We're going to close with this. Is there anything you want to say? S90 real quick?
Well, it's just that this McRaven guy's been all over the place doing some cool stuff like this one, and then there was the other one I sent when he was on Stephen Colbert or whatever.
And look, I know Seymour Hersh later was used to push the narrative about Seth Rich. Maybe it was because he outed McChrystal and all of them about being Knights of Malta members, and he was forced to do that. I don't know. That's speculation. Speculation. Living in Speculation Island. But, I mean...
Nothing wrong with that. We're just thinking. We're just looking at what we got here.
But let's finish this with McCraven. McCraven, of course, did not get along with Trump. Neither did McChrystal, at least for what we know. So.
Former commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command says Biden will make America lead again. McCraven, most famous...
McCraven might be our Secretary of Defense. Oh, boy.
Overseeing some of the most important operations in U.S. history, such as the raid that killed OBL, the capture of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein, and the rescue of Captain Phillips from Somali pirates. Admiral McCraven joins us now. Admiral, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, most importantly, for your nearly 4 decades of service to this nation. I want to start with your op-ed in the Wall Street Journal today. You write, quote, I am a pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, small government, strong defense, and a national anthem standing conservative. But I also believe that Black Lives Matter.
That's right. He's not best friends with Stanley McChrystal. Both. I'm a conservative. Wake. I'm gonna be Biden's Secretary of Defense, possibly. I'm a conservative. Wake. It's not. You got any thoughts? That's hilarious.
That's a joke. Yeah. No. Trixie Hobbitses.
I'm sorry, you guys. This is the right-left paradigm is such bullcrap. I'm a conservative, but
Okay. That the dreamers deserve a path to citizenship, that diversity and inclusion are essential to our national success, that education is the great equalizer, that climate change is...
I'm a conservative, but I'm going to list all of these. And I'm going to vote for Biden. And Biden's gonna possibly make me Secretary of Defense. Oh, he's a neoconservative, am I right, Mark?
It's real, and that the First Amendment is the cornerstone of our democracy. Most important, I believe that America must lead in the world with courage, conviction, and a sense of honor and humility, unquote. Was it a difficult decision to announce that you're voting for Biden? This is the first time you've ever publicly...
That is true, as Baker. Hannity wears 2 CIA pins. He's a very special wall banger. Very special. Very special, that wall banger. Very special. Yes, Mark. Seth Rich went to Crichton, top Jesuit training school. Jesuit trained Seth Rich. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else in the chat? There's something else I wanted to mention.
It's almost as if they have one school for training one type of operative and one school for training the counter type of operative.
But they both get taught communism in the end. That's how it works. Hey guys, I'm a conservative. I'm pro-life and pro-First and Second Amendment, but I also believe in all these other things too as well. And I support Biden.
Just as a side note, the reason they believe in communism is because they believe it's the Atlantean ideal.
That is true. Is there anything else that you want to say in closing?
Nope. Trust the plan.
Yeah, trust the plan. Take the oath. I mean, this episode was just something that we were talking. We just wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna do a really deep dive with Boykin, probably with. I'm gonna probably bring Recluse on. For that. And we'll see what he has to end up saying about it. Boykin is a very, 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 very shady guy. And so is Rick Joyner, the whole New Apostolic Reformation heresy. Joyner from Morning Star Church, South Carolina. Lance Wallanu.
And when Pechenik is name dropping them, to his very special audience, it shows something.
It should mean something. I don't think Pechenik...
name dropping Adam Curry too. Like, we didn't even get to do anything about Adam Curry. Like, I don't even know what to dig into on that guy. Like, I just can't believe he's friends with him. That's kind of...
Yeah, whoever gave us the lead,
like, how?
Whoever gave us the lead, try to put something in the chat, in the comment section about what episode Adam Curry talks about his relationship with Steve Pechenik. Be very curious to see what that is. Is everyone in DC an operative? Not everyone, but majority of people. Not the people that work or live there, but I'm talking about, if you're talking about, like, military, Pentagon, and CIA, and like if you're talking about, like, all those people, then, like, yeah.
And Expose the Enemy says Boykin starred in a film with David Knight for InfoWars. It's a good time.
Good, thank you, John Swin. Man up, man. Look, I have a soft spot for David Knight. I'm sorry, all right? Like, I know he's probably not our guy, okay? But I have a soft spot for David Knight. I'm not saying anybody should go listen to David. I'm just saying if you have to listen to InfoWars, David Knight, I agree with him a lot more than I agree. At least he had the gravitas to call Steve Pechenik a spook. And to set them up, even though it's much.
Like, I just wonder how secure his job is after that.
I mean, who knows? It could have been just an act.
Yeah.
At this point, who knows?
It's honestly though, everything goes smoother if the act just keeps going smoothly.
Yeah, that's true.
It seems a bit weird.
That's true. Stay for a minute. Is there anything else wants to say in the chat? And I'll go in a minute or two. It's getting cold out here in the shed. I'm ready to go to bed. It's like 1 a.m. I'm glad we finally got to do a show together. We were going to do the martial law show together, but we got to do this one.
Yeah, martial law, hooray.
John says, yeah, I think he stepped in because Alex was busy at one time, yeah. The Cure says you got closing remarks. Okay, go ahead. Questions, comments, concerns?
Conspiracies.
I mean, Dominion has done it. This isn't the only election. Like, I mean, look at 2004 with the Diebold voting machines, and ES&S, and Dominion. It's not just them. It's not just them.
Tim LaHaye.
Yep, Tim LaHaye. Yep.
Freedom Dude, I saw you mention that.
I have to watch. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. I always thought Left Behind. At least for the past few years, I've always thought Left Behind was. I mean, I'm not a pre-tribulation rapture person, so I think the Left Behind series nonsense. I think it's propaganda.
Hang on, I got a friend who had a really. They were saying that all of the miracles performed in the show, like the new food or the airplanes falling down or the people disappearing, etc., that those could be technologically caused, right? That say the Middle East all of a sudden tried to strike Israel, all their planes suddenly start falling out of the sky. Well, that's because they put kill switches in the technology when they sell them to them. You could fake that.
Let's see here. There's one last thing I saw. One last thing. I haven't fleshed it out completely, but it's something you guys might find interesting, so I'll show it now. So I went to Donald Trump.
Ronald Dump.
What the? Okay. And then I went to following to see, just to see who was following. And I was just curious, because, a lot of people make sense of who he follows, right? Like Tucker Carlson and Reince Priebus. But it was a Roma Downey one that kind of threw me a little off. I was like, wait a minute. That's the chick, or the woman from, what's that name? Touched by an Angel. I remember watching that with my dad in the 90s. So then I was like, okay, that's weird. So I was like, well, lightworkers.com. I was like, well, okay. So I was scrolling down and see. I was like, try to look. Okay, so I explore Lightworkers Media. All right, so I click on that, and then I'm like, okay, so they did this Country Ever After thing. Sure, whatever. The Messiah show on Netflix. These people did this show. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up.
We got a problem here.
Something ain't right. Something's wrong in the state of Denmark. So, and it's Downey's husband. He was the head of the Apprentice show that Donald Trump was on. What was his name?
Which is linked to that WMEIMG company.
And that's why that he follows her. Mark Burnett. He created the show Apprentice and produced Survivor. And Roma Downey he's been married to Roma Downey since 2007. And now they're like, oh, we're born again. We're really big Christians, and so they make this Lightworkers Media group. But their main show is Messiah on Netflix. Am I missing something here, you guys? It doesn't seem.
You're not missing anything, man. Their website sucks, and they're proud of a show they shouldn't be proud of.
That they helped produce.
Yeah, they're most of these people. Okay, like the elite. A lot of them are boomers who just don't get it, and I hate using that word. I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone, but it's like a lot of them are just old people, and they're literally out of touch at this point, and they think this is still how stuff goes.
So
they're shooting themselves in the foot.
They brought you the Bible series and Son of God. They now bring you Lightworkers, and so what does Lightworkers do? Messiah. A CIA show. You can watch on Netflix. I watched it just to see what it was about. when it first came out
about the CIA.
about a is he not Messiah.
Which is the same as that K-Pax thing Kevin Spacey was in, where it was like, is he an alien, is he not?
So look, you have like this little boy movie, fine, whatever. Woodland, fine, whatever. Ben-Hur, fine, whatever. You have stuff about Bible, Son of God with Jesus. The Bible, wait. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. So. Okay. I don't know, just pointed it out when I saw it. It is what it is. But, all right, everybody, got anything to say in closing, S90, if we get out of here?
No, keep your eyes open, people. Keep your eyes open. Bring us whatever you can find, and we'll try to piece it together.
Yes. God bless everybody. Take care. Got a show tomorrow evening with a friend of the show, Wade McCroy. We're going to talk about transhumanism and the elite's agenda. It's good. It's going to be a great show, so tune in. Wade McCroy is a very strong Christian, fellow friend of the show. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Have a good night.